Haynes House Yarns. I'm Terry Haynes. Glad to be back. I've been absent for a little while, and I'll tell you why in this video, but here I am. And we're gonna talk about some things and see some pretties. First off, I wanna thank Allison. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what you did. I greatly appreciate you, and I cannot thank you enough. So if you have not, and I don't know why you haven't, followed me on Instagram at .haynes.house.yarns. If you have not liked my Facebook page at Haynes House Yarns, and if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, down below, hit the subscribe. And you have not talked to me on Ravelry in my Ravelry group at Haynes House Yarns, why? This is a perfect time to go do it. Just go do it. Just pause the video. No, I'm kidding. No, if you want to, pause the video. Go do all that stuff and come back and then talk to me. It's kind of the way I do my kids sometimes. So go take care of that stuff and then come back and talk to me. So go ahead, follow me. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, like everything, share everything. Fun things going on. Also, I have a newsletter now. So if you want to get a behind the scenes look, maybe a advanced look at some of the things that I'm doing, newsletter is going to be the best place to do that. So go ahead and hop over, do all those things, and I will greatly appreciate you. So although I have been busy and not filming, I have been dying, so I have some cool things to show you. So we're going to go straight into story time. Okay, so the first colorway I'm going to show you for story time comes from the fact that my family does not drink soda. We never have carbonated drinks. We never really have. Maybe in a snowstorm we'll get a 6-pack or 12-pack of soda because that's kind of like our fun drink for getting snowed in. But around here, the going drinks is water, coffee, and tea, sweet tea. And we need to talk about sweet tea because I have a problem, and the sweet tea gets rationed because of me. Like, we can't make sweet tea all the time because I would drink it all the time. And lemonade, country time lemonade mix, standard old lemonade mix. So in the house, there is this long conversation always about who made the lemonade last and whose turn is it to make it. So there's like, no, I made it last. No, I made it last. No, I made it last. No, I made it. I made it twice in a row. So, but there's always like that conversation happening about the lemonade. So the first colorway is called Make Some Lemonade. Just make some. It is a nice sunny yellow, like a good lemonade should be. And it has little orange speckles in there to kind of represent the powder of the lemonade. It is on the bare feet sock, which is an 80/20 merino nylon. It's over in the shop. It's so sunny, so make yourself some lemonade and then make yourself something with some lemonade yarn and have a nice little happy smile of lemonade yarn. The next colorway comes from two things. The first is, we talk in movie lines a lot around my house. Mostly Disney, mostly Marvel, mostly Lord of the Rings, and any other classic movie that we've all fallen in love with. Like, I just showed my son Gremlins for the first time. Hilarious! Okay. So there is a movie called Emperor's New Groove. It's Disney, and in the movie the Emperor says "Cheese me no likey," which means watch the movie, you'll see what he means. So cheese me no likey, and the fact I don't like pink. I never have. I look good in pink. I actually wore pink for a really long time just to prove to myself that I actually look good in pink, but I actually don't like the color pink. So this colorway is a combination of those two, and it's called Pinky Me No Likey, which is hilarious because I actually like this. So it has different shades of pink and some gray in it. It is also on the bare feet sock, and I like this pink, but Pinky Me No Likey. The next colorway comes from one of the knitting groups that I'm in. One of the women in that group gifted me 2 skeins of merino silk blend to dye. She had bought it. She thought she was going to dye it, and she was like, yeah, I'm not going to dye it. So I was like, yes, because I like to play with new things, and this is a new experience. So I dyed it up with some existing dye stock that I had from that I had mixed up previously. So it came out really nice. But for me, it was all about the experiment. It was all about how the silk was going to take the dye versus maybe nylon or maybe 100% merino. So, you know, it was great. So I took it to the knitting group after I dyed it, hoping the woman who gave it to me was there so I could show it to her. But when I pulled it out, another woman named Kathy said, "Oh, it's my shoes." So it was Kathy's birthday, and she just got a new pair of clogs. So this is called Kathy's Cotton Candy Clogs, and it's the color of her shoes. I will put up a picture of her and me and the shoe and the yarn so you kind of get a sense of what the shoe is. But this is Kathy's Cotton Candy Clogs. Remember this. We're going to talk about that later. And then the last colorway that I want to show you is something my youngest son used to do to us when he was younger. So he wouldn't ask for things. He would say, "You say yes." And he was really young, maybe under 4. And so he would say this and we were like, "We don't know what you mean." Like, he wouldn't ask, "Can I have a cookie?" He would say, "You say yes." So it has backfired on us many times because we said yes to things that we didn't realize that we were saying yes to. So this colorway is called You Say Yes. So it's all kinds of goodness. Pinky Plummy is also on the Bare Feet Sock yarn. And I like it, and we're going to talk about this again later too, but this is You Say Yes. So all 4 of these colors will be in the shop update tomorrow, April the 19th. Jump on over there, get you some lemonade, say yes to some Pinky Me No Likey, and get you some Kathy's Cotton Candy Clogs, and head over to the Etsy shop. They'll all be there. So now to the next segment of the video, which I call What Am I Wearing? So this is Pyros by Melina Hami. It's available on Ravelry. It is, I think, a great pattern to show off this great colorway, which is Fight. And for those of you who have watched previous video, I designed this or dyed this colorway for my sister who is fighting lymphoma and winning. So she's doing great. Thanks to everyone who sent their prayers and wishes and thoughts to me and my sister. I appreciate it. So I was knitting up Fight while I was sitting with her, and I am so thankful that things are going well. It's very funny. This shawl has a funny story. I was sitting in the hospital room with her knitting this, and she asked me about it. She's like, "Oh, show it to me." And I pull it out, and I'm like, "Yeah," telling her all about it. And I said, "Yeah, I don't know. I wanted a shawl that is a little less drapey." I said, "I was actually thinking something that I could just lay." So this shawl is not blocked. So it's sitting nicely, but it's not blocked, and I do plan to block it. So I was like, once I block it, it's going to be huge, and I'm going to have to drape it a certain way. And she said, "Oh, I thought it was mine." So this is Wanda's Fight. She just kind of jacked me for it, and now I have this. So there are still more Fight over in the Etsy shop if you want to go over and buy some. Some of the proceeds go to my sister in her ongoing care. So I thank everyone who has already bought Fight. As you can see, it's a fantastic colorway. To the next part of the video, we are hosting a knit along. It's already started. It's already going. I am excited to see everybody's colors and combinations of how it's coming together. So I have been posting black and white pictures of my knit along, which is the Drifter by Tamy Gore. I've been posting black and white pictures because I was making it out of 2 colors that I hadn't put in the shop, and I didn't want to put it in the shop and then everybody wants it and it's not, I wasn't ready. So here is my the Drifter. And it is made with You Say Yes and Kathy's Cotton Candy Clogs. It is a very nice pattern. I like the way that it's coming out. It starts here in the corner and kind of works up in the middle, and I'm excited. I love it, and I especially love these colorways. It was funny because I dyed these 2 and they were sitting on the table next to each other, and I was like, "Oh, that's it. That's what I'm doing for my knit along." But here. From here on out, we will have color pictures of this bad boy everywhere you can see color pictures. So there it is. My husband is also participating in the knit along, and this is his project. He made it out of Kim Boom and 2 dozen peach roses. When he first put these together, I was like, one of those colors might not show up, but they showed up beautifully. It is actually a lovely project. Now, as you can see, he's further ahead than me. So this is the struggle with us. We do knit alongs. I compete, he ignores me, he wins. So maybe I should ignore him and then I'll win. But this is his. So if you want to join the knit along and you want to use those 2 colors, you want to use Stash Dive, use your own yarn, go on over to Ravelry, post your pictures up on that thread, and show us what you're going to do, and we'll talk about how your project is turning out. I'm loving mine. I can't wait to wear it. I am a tall woman, so I really like big dramatic drapey things. So I am looking forward to possibly wearing both of those, because I will take my husband's, well, technically it's mine. I mean, isn't it mine? I did dye it. So the knit along is going, and go on over and join us. So yesterday I had a conversation with another knitter about the knit along. So in the knit along, you slip stitches, but you have to move the yarn with yarn in front, with the yarn in back, in order to not wrap the yarn around the front of the stitch so it shows up. So it's almost like a lever motion. So I flick when I knit, and I taught myself from a Very Pink Knits video tutorial. I will put the link to that down below, because I was an English thrower and I would have to let everything go, and flicking allows you to hold on to everything until you have to reposition your hands, and I like that better. It's a little like continental, and one of the reasons why they go fast. So flicking, I can get some speed going flicking if I'm not daydreaming or watching TV, or some good thing has happened in a book that I'm reading and I'm like, ah! So I taught myself to flick. In this conversation, the person said, oh, I had to look it up. I didn't know what that was. I'm a continental knitter. And I was like, I can knit continental, English throwing, flicking, and Portuguese, which I really like for when your hands are tired. That's the one where you wrap around your neck, or you put a pin and you run the yarn through the pin. And she called me a show off, but that's okay, because I like to learn. I love to learn new ways of doing things. I have multiple ways that I can cast on, cast off, decreases, increases. My favorite cast on is long tail, even though I never get it right. I have done measure the yarn, wrap the yarn around the needles. I've done it all. It's never right, and I'm just to the point where I just knit the whole project with a little bobbin of too much thread on the bottom. But what are your favorite ways? What are your favorite ways of knitting? What are your go-to? Do you switch between needles and projects and yarn? Like, does some yarn beg to be knit continental? Does some yarn want to be thrown? So let me know. Talk in the comments below if you're a knitter. I'd like to know what is your preferred method and why. I learned English. That's how I learned. I taught myself later continental. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about your favorite ways of doing knitting. So I have one more thing to show you, and I will say to you what I say to my son. You can see it, but you can't have it. So in dyeing world, sometimes you have leftover dye. So when we say the dye exhausts, it means that the yarn has absorbed all of the dye from the dye water, or from the dye pot. So I did a couple batches of Fight to go in the shop, and other orders to individuals. And when I got done, I had this pot of pale green and pale green, gray water left, or dye stock left. And I was like, I don't want to throw this out. Can I use it for something? So I got a skein of 100% merino and tried a technique that I won't tell you what it is, because I need to try it again. And when I was heating up the water to do it again, my son came down and looked in the pot and he said, oh, this looks like the water that they had Wolverine in when they put his adamantium skeleton on. So you can see it, but you can't have it. This is, I've been calling it Wolverine water, because it's the common. Now, look how different that is. This is what I started with, and this was the leftover dye stock in the pot. I like it. So I'm looking forward to dyeing something with it, this Wolverine water, but you can't have it because I can't I guess I could recreate it. We'll see. But this is Wolverine water. Dyeing is a very interesting process. It's a very interesting process in what you go through with the yarn. Like, look at this. This is an interesting process. I have to untangle this. This went very wrong somewhere. I don't know. He's very unhappy. And he's been sitting, you know, staring at me every time I come in here with the rest of my dye stuff saying, please untangle me. Any volunteers? So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to pop a picture up after the video of all the colorways that will be available tomorrow, April the 19th, in the Etsy shop, along with a link to it down below. Please, again, subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram. I really appreciate it. And until next time, happy knitting.